After the ending of Infinity War, it now feels like we are suffering through the long night till Avengers 4. One of the biggest questions on everyone's mind is how Captain Marvel will enter the fray and what kind of a role will she have. I mean, for them to tease her in the post-credit scene like that really means she's going to be significant. In this video, I'm breaking down Carol Danvers' different powers, a little bit of her origin, and the real reason why she will help the Avengers defeat Thanos. This is going to have some spoilers for Infinity War, so you know the drill. Get out of here and let up YouTube. It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. If you love them Avengers films, subscribe to this channel. We're cranking out a ton of content on the way to Avengers 4. Quickly, before we get into this video, I need to shout, probably all in the same boat, everyone. We're reeling from the ending of Infinity War. I mean, it was brutal, and the whole movie was just a crazy ride. Now it's over. We're sort of thinking about the future, and that post-credit scene, which teased Captain Marvel coming, is a big clue for what to expect next. I mean, it's super obvious that she's going to play a huge role in the next movie. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about Captain Marvel, aka Carol Danvers, a little bit of where she came from, you know, some of that flavor. And then I'm going to finish off by talking about the real reason why she will be able to help the Avengers. So Carol Danvers is an incredibly powerful character from the comics. She starts out as just a highly intelligent ace pilot, ex-CIA operative, and then she's hired as head of security at a NASA facility. She works under a person named Dr. Philip Lawson, and we learn in the comics that this guy's secretly an alien. He's actually a Kree. So she sidekicks for him for a long time. They formulate a romantic relationship, and then at one point, Carol is captured and used as bait in a trap for Philip Larson, who was also running around as the hero Mar-Vell. Lawson, of course, saves Carol, but then this big alien machine goes off and he shields her from the blast. During this accident, some of his DNA transfers over to her DNA. So Carol gets some of the powers of Mar-Vell from his Kree DNA, and there's speculation that she got some powers from the crazy machine as well. Now, we've heard they're actually going to change the origin up a little bit for the film, but they did cast Eric Larson. I believe he's going to be played by Jude Law. But yeah, that is basically her origin story. It's not a radioactive spider, but it is some kind of weird alien machine. You know, your average 60s Marvel thing.
60% of the time, it works. Every time.
So let me try to put her powers in context of what you've already seen within the MCU. I would probably put her on the level of Thanos without any gems. So the way we see Thanos fight the Hulk in the beginning of Infinity War and the way he's just overall very tough, I would say that Carol Danvers is probably on that level of strength. She has energy powers, she can blast out beams, and I would put these on the level of Mind Gem Vision. When he uses the Mind Gem to put that big blast out of his forehead, yeah, I think that her powers are going to be on the level of that, which is crazy because that thing can like cut through buildings. It's very, very strong. She'll have the flight ability, and I would put this on the level of Thor with his hammers, you know, and he can really do some damage flying around pretty quick, sort of bulldozing into objects. I believe she'll be able to do that as well. She also has a thing called a seventh sense, and this is very much like Spider-Man's Spidey sense, except on a more galactic, sort of cosmic level. So she can feel when things are in flux in the galaxy. Kevin Feige has stated that the MCU version of Captain Marvel will be the most overpowered Avenger they have ever done. I think what they're going to do here is have a Superman-like character. I mean, we already have a lot of big guns in the Avengers, but I think they want that big character, that Superman-like character. And what's cool about this from a comic perspective is bringing someone like that in there, even though it'll be Carol to start with, opens the door for other crazy characters like Hyperion or the Sentry, or some of my favorite just godlike characters. So yeah, we're getting our first OP god status Avenger. She also has another crazy ability, and this is where she sort of hulks out or goes into binary form. At one point in the comics, Carol Danvers, who is gallivanting as a hero at this point, she gets hit with an evolutionary ray, which wakes up some of her latent abilities. It is said that in binary form, she has the power of a white hole, which is like a black hole, but like for the universe, and has to do with like crazy crazy cosmic level entropy. I don't know, just think of it as a way stronger black hole. So she's very strong. When she is in the binary form, she amplifies her already crazy powers by at least 100-fold. So it'll be interesting for me to see when Kevin Feige says she's the most OP, is he talking about her in like first form, or is he talking about her when she goes into binary form? Either way, I guess what I'm saying is I'm really hoping we get that binary form. That is a really dope thing from the comics. Would love to see it on the silver screen. By the way, I want to side Akbar here. I was recently on a podcast with ESPN personalities Outsider Mike. I'll link that podcast in the description below, but I was asked about Captain Marvel, Avengers 4. We did some long form talks. You might want to go check that out for more of my, I guess, other thoughts on this. So that is all of her powers. Kind of a little quick intro on the character in case you didn't know anything about her. And yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool, but simply being powerful, even if she gets the binary form, is not exactly how I think she's going to be able to help the Avengers. She also has ties to the Kree and to other aliens in the universe. Now, I've talked about this in several videos in the past, but a lot of people reached out and asked me to explain it a little more clearly. So I'm gonna do the best job of that as I can right now. It was revealed last year at San Diego Comic-Con that Captain Marvel is going to have the Kree and the Skrull in the film. These are two alien races that have sizable armies and empires out there in the universe. In comics, the Kree and the Skrull do not get along at all. In fact, they've been warring for a long time. There are various times in comic where that conflict stirs up again. The Kree-Skrull War is a huge event from back in the day, old school Marvel comics. We've actually already seen the Kree before in the MCU in both Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Oh, quick side note here, Ronan the Accuser is going to be in the Captain Marvel movie, and I'm super pumped for that. Loved that character. The Guardians movies themselves actually showcase this vast universe. They start showing us these different worlds, different races. There's Xandar, there's Nowhere, all sorts of other places in the galaxy where people and different races mingle. All of these different places have been affected by the snap that Thanos does at the end of Infinity War. So all of these different groups of aliens, and really what's important to my point here is the Kree and the Skrull, all of them have had their populations wiped out. They have had half of the people of their race destroyed. In the comic books, after Thanos snaps his fingers and half the life in the universe disappears, a lot of different people notice. This includes cosmic entities and Adam Warlock, who in the comics goes around recruiting different heroes and entities and powerful armies to help out and try to defeat Thanos. Depending on what will happen in the Captain Marvel movie, Carol will be known by all of the different alien races that are in the MCU. So she will be able to introduce the remaining Avengers to these alien empires. I think she is going to take the place of the Adam Warlock role from the comics, and she will be the main person putting together the intergalactic team which will go to take on Thanos. So why do I think all of this is going to happen, and why do I think I know where they are going with this? Well, it all has to do with a comic book event called Infinity. Infinity is a Jonathan Hickman story, and it has partially been adapted in Infinity War. The Black Order, which were referred to as the Children of Thanos, yeah, those characters like Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, and Black Dwarf, those characters are from Infinity. The showdown with the Outriders in Wakanda, that's also from Infinity. So I believe that the Russo brothers and the team over at Marvel Studios is taking things from Jonathan Hickman comics and adapting them alongside with old comic book stories. So they're taking the Jim Starlin Thanos stuff, and they are also taking elements of newer Jonathan Hickman stuff. Now, if you follow that line of thinking, there was something else that happened in Infinity which I think can match up with something that happened in the old comic books. This is the fact that Captain America and the Avengers literally join forces with the Kree and the Skrull and the Shi'ar and different aliens out there in the universe, and they form a coalition, an armada, and they go attack a shared enemy. This was a big deal because a lot of these different races were beefing. I mean, the Kree and the Skrull really don't like each other. None of them really like Earth at this point, but they all laid lay down those lines, they bury the hatchet, and they work together. Now, in the original Infinity Gauntlet storyline, after Adam Warlock has recruited all these different entities and heroes, they all work together fighting Thanos on the throne in which he is sitting with Mephisto and Mistress Death. So if you combine that event with the Armada and the shared goal from the Infinity event, I think that is the direction they are going to take for Avengers 4. So yeah, like I said, I've explained that before, but I really tried to make it very simple and easy to understand just now. So I mean, I don't know, let me know. Did that make sense? Do you see where I'm going with this? So that's it, everybody. That's why I think Captain Marvel will be able to help the Avengers, and a little bit of information about her powers themselves. I think the character is very cool. I have to trust Marvel Studios at this point, and I'm very excited to see the Skrull, the Kree, Mar-Vell, and all of the different awesome nerdy things from Carol's story. I should also mention, of course, this is just a theory at this point. This is my speculation about where I think we are going, and either way, Captain Marvel is going to play a big role, so let me know your thoughts. What do you think she's going to do in Avengers 4? How is she going to help the Avengers? All right, let's check that nerd card really quickly. I want to know, in the Infinity event, why was that Armada put together? They were actually not going to fight Thanos. They were going to fight something else. What were all of the heroes and aliens going to go